What is going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here. Good morning, everyone out there, and welcome back to Good Morning Tottenham. And you can see there's a familiar face, but an unfamiliar face for this time in the morning here for John.
Channeling my inner Sim.
Yeah, channeling his inner Sim. He's got Sim spot for the next couple of days until the weekend. But good to have you this morning,
Yeah,
John.
I'm not used to doing these early ones. To be honest with you, the red eye shift, this is.
But look, it's the transfer window closed yesterday. Are you how are you looking at the transfer window?
Mixed bag, I think. I think it's good that we are starting to lower the average age of the squad.
Yeah.
You know, I think under Mourinho it's starting to be under Poch. It was one of the youngest in the. It was the youngest in the league.
But it was
24.
getting there under Poch, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it started to age a little bit under. I can't talk it so early.
Pochettino.
Pochettino, thank you. And then Mourinho, it started to get average age around 28. So we've really lowered the average age. I think there's some good young prospects in there, which I'm really excited about, especially Hill. On the flip side of that, to balance the argument, I would say no one's really come in that you know is going to be a first teamer straight away. You know, there's sort of players that are going to have to work their way in. I would have really liked to see a playmaker come in, you know, a creative player in the middle of the park, and a backup striker. But I would say, though, that it's better than transfer windows gone by, isn't it?
I would say on that playmaker thing, do you not think that if he can get an Ndombele on side, that he can fill that role?
I would love to see Ndombele. That again, that's another reason why it's a positive window. You know, kept Harry Kane for another season, kept Ndombele in there, and if you can get a tune out of Ndombele, I think that he would actually thrive in this team.
So do we need a playmaker if Ndombele can?
Yeah, but it all depends on his attitude and if he's actually going to show up. You know, if he's going to dig his heels in and you know, throw his toys out the pram, then we're a little bit missing in that position, I think. But if he actually does, if he shows a good attitude like he did last season, I think it's going to be like buying a new player. So I think it's a kind of
how many years do we say? Every year,
I know every year
with a player coming back in.
I know.
It's just like signing a new
I know,
player.
we always say that,
to
don't
Daniel
we?
Levy's, that's what he loves to hear, doesn't he?
What do you think about the window? Like, what would you judge it out of 10? And what are the positives and negatives from the window?
For me, I gave it between a 6 and a 7 last night. I think the players that we kept hold of, top quality. Obviously, Harry Kane, Ndombele, if we can get him on side. But you know, Ndombele has absolute star quality. If he can fulfill it, that's a different story. But I think now now the window's shut. Now Ndombele stayed at Spurs. I think he has to knuckle down now, doesn't he? Because he kind of can run the risk of his career just like kind of whimpering away, can't he? Because if he doesn't have a good season now at Tottenham, that's probably half a good season after 3 years at Spurs, right? Yeah. And who's going to take him?
Yeah, exactly. Knowing his attitude and all that, you know, knowing that he falls out with every manager almost, you know.
And not only that, but the guy's on 200 grand a week.
Yeah.
And Daniel Levy's going to want like 60 million for him.
Absolutely, yeah.
So he's fearing, like, if he doesn't have a good season this year, he could really whimper away as a football player.
True. You know, it'd be quite nice to see him having a little bit of a competition for places with Dele Alli, I think. And then also you've got Skipp. I think Skipp and the Celso can almost rotate a little bit as well, depending on like the fixture.
Well, the thing is with Skipp, he's playing like the furthest back in the midfield three. So I think the only other player that can play his role is Aurier. I mean, the other player that's probably fighting for that role is Harry Winks, but I'm surprised
we've all given up on him.
I'm surprised that Harry Winks has stayed beyond this window. Apparently he's really impressed Nuno.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, no, don't.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
But you asked me about how I kind of assess this transfer window. Let me just run through it. So Galini came in replacement for Joe Hart, right? That's a massive upgrade. You got to say that. Christian Romero's come in for Toby Alderweireld. I think Christian Romero got centre back of the year in Italy last year, but I don't read too much into these kind of accolades, you know, because I remember Kolasinac for Arsenal got left back of the year in Germany and then he moved to Arsenal the next year.
And look what happened.
And look at him now, you know what I mean? So you can't really read too much into it. I think when a player goes into a new league, when he goes into a new environment, you see what kind of player he really is. And I think Christian Romero, I'm very kind of hopeful and I'm very excited about him, that's for sure. But you've got to air caution with
of course.
all your
Look
signings.
at Fazio.
You got to air caution with all your signings.
Yeah.
The thing is with Fazio, right? He was so slow. He had no mobility whatsoever. He just had height and brute. Romero, I mean, he's got physicality, he's got strength, he's got pace. He's very super aggressive. So I think he can thrive in the Premier League. I just think that the way people are talking about him being like, oh, he's like the best defender since sliced bread. You've got to just
keep your feet on the ground. You do. You definitely do. Yeah.
But don't get me wrong. I'm very excited.
Yeah,
about
I'm
him.
excited about it. Yeah. But if we just look at it, I mean, we have lost our best centre back. If we're being honest, admittedly he was ageing, but we have lost our best centre back. We've lost our best right back. And we've obviously replaced and we've got cover in those positions. Admittedly, one of them's Doherty. So for me, it's still almost treading water, if you know what I mean, this window. If you look at last year's window, you know, some people saying that was a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
But I think that at the time, people said it's a 9 out of 10. But actually, when we assessed it
now,
6 months down the line...
It probably wasn't, was it?
It wasn't
well, we
at
know
all.
it wasn't.
It wasn't at all.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at the transfer window last year, Joe Hart, 1 out of 10 transfer. Reguilon, good transfer. Højbjerg, good transfer. Gareth Bale on loan, good transfer. You would say 10 goals. You can't argue with that.
Yeah.
Who else came in last year?
Vinicius
did his job.
Did his job. Yeah. Europa League player, isn't he?
Did his job.
Yeah.
And that's it, really, wasn't it? So. And Joe Rodon, obviously.
Yeah, Joe Rodon. We're not seeing. Where is Joe Rodon?
Yeah, exactly. Where is Joe Rodon?
Wanted Joe Rodon. Last seen.
So actually, when you think about the signings we made last summer, it was like the beginning of the rebuild. Last summer was the beginning of the rebuild where Højbjerg came in, who's going to be...
Oh, and Doherty. Did you mention Doherty?
Oh, yeah, Doherty. Doherty needs to... I mean...
We'll
get
into that in a minute.
Get into that in a second. But the way I kind of assess last year's transfer window... I would have given it, like now, I give it still a 6 or a 7. But I think it's the start of the rebuild where you've got a left back for a long time, you've got a centre midfielder for a long time. Both of them are very, very good players. But apart from that, we don't really have any long-term transfers in that batch.
Do you know what's funny? When you look at that transfer window from last year, the one that was like most underwhelming for me at the time was Højbjerg. And actually he turned out to be the best.
Yeah, it works out like that sometimes.
Sometimes that just happens, doesn't it? He turned out to be an absolute catch.
He did. And it's not just the way he is on the pitch, but it's his mentality in there.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's his footballing brain and the way he's a leader on the pitch. He's like pretty much the captain without being the captain.
Well, I think probably when Lloris goes, he will be captain. I hope he...
Do you not think they'll give it to Kane if Kane stays?
Well, I just think that Lloris, when he... I mean, I think this is probably Lloris's last season, I'm guessing. And when he goes, I would really like to see Højbjerg take the armband, captain's armband.
Interesting.
Personally, what do you think in the comments section? Who do you think should take the captain's armband? I'd like to know.
Definitely up there. But as I was saying, Bryan Gil for Lamela, I think that's definitely a step in the right direction. I mean, whatever you say about Eric Lamela, whatever you say about how he always gives 100%, how he's always great to come off the bench and that, like... We just can't get him on the pitch as much as we would like to. I mean, if we could get him on the pitch week in, week out, I would have kept him. But you just can't.
Yeah. He's held together with chewing gum and spit, isn't he? Yeah. That's the problem.
Literally.
But I actually thought he had a good season last season, Lamela.
He did. You know? But still, too many injuries.
No, far too many injuries, you know. And he was there 7 years, wasn't he? Yeah. And he hasn't really improved. Any one of those seasons, he didn't really kick on, did he?
Scored a Rabona against Arsenal.
Good memories. But yeah.
And then Emerson Royale ahead of Serge Aurier, which for me...
Talk to me about Emerson then.
For me, about Emerson, what it seems as though we got... I mean, I've never seen him play a full game of football. I've just seen a few clips here and read up about him. But what it seems to me is that he's like a bit of a younger version of Serge Aurier.
I know. That's
But I'm excited about him, though, because I think that... With Emerson on the right, with Reguilon on the left, we can go some way to replacing that Kyle Walker and Danny Rose thing where we would like up and down the pitch all day long. Because you can't do that with Doherty. You can't do that with Doherty. And you couldn't do that with Ben Davis, and you couldn't do that with all the other left backs we had apart from Reguilon. Reguilon can do that.
Will he come straight in, do you think, or not? Or do you think that he's going to be bled into the team?
I think it's tough on Jaff to take him out straight away.
Yeah.
I think he needs to earn his stripes, doesn't he?
And then what's going to happen to Tanganga, do you think?
Tanganga will be our backup right back, backup centre back. I think he'll be a bit of a utility player this year.
Yeah, okay. Would you like to see him move a bit more inside? Maybe take centre back spot?
Yeah, I think his number one position. I think he's a natural centre back.
The right-sided centre back.
Yeah, that's what
potentially.
I think.
Yeah, maybe take Dyer's place.
Yeah, but Dyer usually plays on a left, so I think that I don't know because what centre back pairing would you like to see this season? Who's your number one centre back pairing?
Oh dear, this is well, I think Romero's going to have to come in, isn't he? And I think you could give Romero and Sanchez a run.
That's what I'm thinking.
You know, you could give those two a run. But I would like to see Tanganga being given a shot at centre-back at some point.
I would like to see Tanganga maybe used for the Conference League and the Cup games predominantly at first in the centre-back role to see how he gets on. I just don't think he looks like a natural fullback to me on the pitch, the way his body moves.
Tanganga?
Yeah.
Like when he's going forwards?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Doesn't have that doesn't have the same cross like an Aurier would.
Yeah. So you saw that game last week when Tanganga was getting in great positions on that right hand side, but not once did he put in a good cross. Not once.
No. I mean, he was whipping the ball in, but it was just a case of just get it in there somewhere, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
There was no real precision to it.
No.
Yeah.
So I think that in terms of the transfer window, when you couple it with last year's transfer window, I think that the rebuild is well and truly on the way.
Yeah.
Like you said earlier, the average age of the squad is dramatically going down, which is music to our ears. And I think that will put us one step into kind of being able to press teams into submission, being able to be fitter than other teams, being able to be running more than other teams. You know, that's what was our X factor under Pochettino.
Of course, yeah.
That's what the X factor was. And I mean, we could have lower class of players than the teams that are better than us, you know, the Man Cities, the Chelseas, the Man Uniteds, you know what I mean? We can have kind of worse players than them, but we can outfight them and beat them.
Yeah. I like that dimension to us where we're just really explosive, you know, loads of pace. We're quick in the transition. I really like that when we play in that way. It's a weapon. It's a real weapon, isn't it? Just quickly on that. So Rodon, where does Rodon come into this for you in the picture? Because it almost feels as though he's being pushed more and more, more and more disenfranchised every time we sort of talk about him. I mean, do you still see him as a first choice, or is he now just a fringe
I don't think he's ever
defender?
been a first choice, to be honest.
And what is it about his game that that you think Nuno and Jose didn't like? Yeah,
it's an interesting one because he came in, didn't get much game time at all. And then he started to knuckle down a spot under Jose, didn't he? And then Jose got sacked, and then Mason never picked him again for the rest of the season. Went to the Euros with Wales, had a brilliant Euros with Wales. Everyone was very impressed. Put in good performances in big games like against Italy and teams like that. Came back to Tottenham and was never seen again. I don't even think he played. He didn't start one pre-season game. Even the ones he was back for, I think he came on for the Arsenal game the last 10 minutes. That was about it. And he's been injured now since the start of the season. So it's difficult for him. I think he's got a lot of work to do. I believe in Joe Rodon, though. Yeah. Every time I've seen him play, I've liked the look of him.
I mean, it could be a Romero-Rodon partnership if it comes off, this season. Potentially. And then Sanchez could be the third choice. And then I would look to move Dyer on, personally.
Yeah, I would. But I think with Davinson Sanchez, you just can't take him out of the team at the moment.
No, not at the moment. No way. No.
I mean, he's looking really good, isn't he?
Very dynamic, yeah.
The thing is with Sanchez, right? At his age, shouldn't we be giving him more patience? Because I know, me and you have had so many chats over the years and being like, we don't like Davinson Sanchez, we're happy for him to go, and we were actively looking to sell him this summer, and both of us pretty much agreed this summer, we're happy to get rid of him.
Did we?
Well, I said that.
Yeah, I can't remember if I said that or not. I think I wanted him as third choice.
Maybe you said that, yeah. But I think me and Simeon were both saying, we're happy for him to move on.
You wanted him to go.
We're happy for him to move on. But is that a bit rash? Because he's look at his age, right? He's a young player, pretty much the same age as Joe Rodon, right? And he's got all the attributes to succeed in the Premier League. He's big, he's strong, he's physical, he's quick. He just has these brain farts every so often.
Well, that's the thing, yeah.
Can that be coached out?
I'm not sure, but if you think about this time last season, I think we actually had a pretty good start defensively, didn't we, for the first third of the season? And Dyer was looking great, got that 10 out of 10 performance against City, which you got. So we've still got to be aware of that. As good as the performances are now, there could be those brain farts that come in, and they can look great for 89 minutes, and they have that one brain fart, and it costs us the 3 points or whatever, and that's when people are going to be going, That's the Sanchez that we were worried about.
Yeah.
So at the moment, I would say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Keep it going, but then just keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on that, and know that he does have the potential to make those gaffes. But I would say just I think he's come back with a bit of a renewed sense of purpose this season.
It was actually
he had a good Copa America, didn't he?
He did, and it was also said that he was also taken aback by all the interest shown of him over the summer. Seville were trying to go in hard for him, and apparently, what Alistair Gold was saying, he came back to Tottenham with a renewed sense of confidence, more confident than he's ever been because of these teams who are after him. Yeah,
and also something that I've noticed is his delivery's looking a lot better than it did last season. His passing range.
Where's that come from? Where's it come from?
No, against I can't remember who it was. Well, the last game,
Watford.
Watford. It was like Toby Pings coming out, like straight to feet, unbelievable. And we were talking about him as one of the worst bringing the ball out from the back as well. So if he's worked on that, that's an excellent quality he's brought to his game there.
Definitely agree. Let's just get through some super chats. Carlos Farnos says, "Big up, lads. Where do you see our club in 5 years?"
That's like an interview question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? Do you know, I do an interview sometimes. I say, where do you see me in 5 years' time? That really throws the psychology back at them.
Do you get the job usually?
No, not normally. Where do I see ourselves in 5 years' time? 5 years is a long time,
Yeah.
I think if this is going to be the start of the new cycle, then I think in 5 years' time they're all going to be coming into their prime. And that's when we should be really looking to do big things, I would say.
We should be back challenging for the league in 5 years.
Well, we should definitely be back in the top four,
I think we're back in the top four conversation next season.
Yeah. I mean, you could argue that there's an off chance we could this season, but I think we're just going to be just short. But I think with the reinforcements of the next couple of windows after this, and as long as we're investing in the right areas, then I can see us really kicking on. But who knows?
I think this season, in terms of top four, we can only kind of think about getting top four if one of the top four right now, Man United, Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, have an off season.
Yeah, and it's possible. It is possible. I mean, it's very rarely the league ever goes exactly how you expect it to go.
Of course.
Every season there's always a surprise. Liverpool. A lot of people thought Liverpool might drop out last season, but they made it in at the last minute. Just. And then you have like the Leicester season. You have a lot of surprises. West Ham. Who would have thought West Ham were going to pop up last season and do as well as they did? So there's always a surprise every season. It's very rare that you predict the top six perfectly. So who knows? I mean, it could be another season where we can get in through the back door. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
It will be, and I think that when you assess those teams that I just mentioned, I think Man United and Chelsea potentially could be 1 and 2 this year. I really believe that. And I think that Man City and Liverpool are the two teams that could potentially struggle. I don't think they kicked on enough from last season, and I think that Man City got away with not having a striker last year because everyone around them was poor. I think they might get a bit found out this year. Pep is like visually just kind of, he doesn't look happy, Pep, and he's already said he's going to leave within the next 3 years.
Why do you see that? How do you know?
I just think his interviews are just a bit edgy at the moment, and I just don't think he's happy with the squad. He was evidently going for a striker. He was clearly going for Harry Kane, clearly went for Cristiano Ronaldo. Neither of those came through the door. So I think that there's a hole in that squad, and that's up front. And I think that with other teams strengthening, with Man United getting Varane at the back, that's another stronger defence. Liverpool getting that strong defence back in Virgil van Dijk and Konate. Chelsea, after a Champions League winning season, signing Saul Niguez and Lukaku. I mean, they've improved massively. And also Thomas Tuchel just looks like the real deal, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does, yeah.
So, I mean, all these teams have gone forward massively, and I think Man City have stood still. Yes, they've signed Jack Grealish for 100 million, but I think they've pretty much got those positions covered anyway.
I still think they're going to be strong, City. I do.
When I say they're going to be very weak, that's by their standards.
Yeah, okay. Just the 99 points at the end of the season.
That's just by their standards. So look, I think if anyone's going to drop out the top four, it's going to be Liverpool. Their squad is wafer thin.
Yeah, it looks as though they're kind of almost coming to the end of their cycle in a way.
And a bit too short, that cycle, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, I'd still have taken that.
Yeah, of course. But back to the question, where do we see our club in 5 years?
Yeah, what do you think, Ben?
I'm hoping to challenge for the title in 5 years.
Really?
I'm hoping to, yeah.
Phew. What would that take to challenge for the title then?
It would take to keep rebuilding like we do, we did last summer, like we have done this summer. And once these kind of players are nurtured, and in 5 years they should be, hitting their prime or definitely showing their kind of worth, I think then, like next year, or maybe next year is probably another season of rebuild, but the year after that and the year after that, I think we should be looking to add like that one-star quality, that one player a year of proper star quality, because our squad should be formed by then.
Because in 5 years' time, we're not going to have Son, we're not going to have our forward line. Maybe Bergwijn might still be there if he kicks on. But so we're gambling on the fact that we're going to unearth the next couple of gems, aren't we?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We need to just keep adding to the squad.
Yeah.
Keep adding to the squad in a positive way. I think Fabio Paratici has done a very good job this year in kind of bringing some really good young talent to Tottenham. So if he stays, I think the recruitment will be good.
Paratici.
That's how you say his name.
That really
I got told off by calling him Paratici. So
like parrot. Okay, yeah, all right. I'll have to learn to do that as well.
Paratici. All right,
okay.
So that's... Can you see us challenging for the league in 5 years?
Cool.
I don't mean winning it. I just mean challenging.
What does that mean, challenging to you?
Challenging, like we did under Poch.
Finishing second or third?
Yeah.
That could happen, but I think you need to unearth a real gem. Let's say, how are we going to replace the Harry Kane and Son, let's say? I mean, they're top drawer, aren't they? Mm-hmm. So it's difficult to find those types of players,
It is.
So, I mean, if we can get lucky and get one player like that, then we're doing well. But it's not easy. It's not easy.
Of course it's not easy.
And with our, our transfer windows aren't at the level of the other clubs.
We have to do things more cleverly.
We have to be more shrewd. So then you have to sort of hopefully get it right. You have to get a bit of luck with these transfers. So it's definitely not going to be easy. But I mean, yeah, it could happen, couldn't it? Challenging.
Will Scott with the super chat saying Spurs need another finisher. Last season, most goals were from Son and Kane. That cannot continue. We need more goals from the midfield. Need a new Eriksen.
Yeah. Well, we haven't replaced Eriksen really,
you
have
were
we?
saying we need a playmaker, didn't you?
Well, we thought Lo Celso was going to be the replacement for Eriksen, but that hasn't really happened. He's sort of going the way of Lamela at the moment, looking very injury prone. Comes in, looks good for a few games and gets injured again. So I'm a bit concerned about that. I did want that as part of the transfer window. I thought that's the position that we needed to reinforce, a playmaker. Hasn't happened. And I also thought we needed a second striker as well. That hasn't happened. So, yeah, there's a few gaps there.
There was a creative burden in the team last year, and like you said, Kane and Son were scoring all our goals. Yeah. Do you think that because of Jose, do you think that was because of Jose?
Yeah, it was. I think so.
Or do you think that basically with a new manager, Nuno, that we can kind of play a different way and get more success and more goals from different areas of the pitch?
I do think under Nuno we're going to be able to score more goals from the rest of the team. A little bit like under Poch, we were getting goals from everywhere, weren't we? Dembele, Eriksen, even Toby, Dyer, Rose.
Yeah.
There were goals from everywhere on the park. Actually, that's one of the rival fans used to say that about us. Is like, you've got goals everywhere on the pitch.
Yeah.
And that's what I really liked about us back then. I do actually see under Nuno, I feel like it's going to be much more of a team performance under Nuno. I feel like with Jose, he liked to play more of a flat back four and rely on the front four, like the front two to get all the goals, let's say. But with Nuno, I feel like it's more of an overall well-oiled machine where there's going to be a lot of high-octane performances all over the pitch, and which could create goals. So as long, I really want to see Bergwijn kick on now. I think he does good work dribbling in the middle of the park, but I just think that end product's not quite there yet. We talk about him being a confidence player, but he really needs to sort of that really needs to happen for him, I think. And then if we can get a player out of Bergwijn, then that's going to be great going forward with the goals, But that's a little bit of a concern as well at the moment. But I think if he could be one that breaks through, just think how much that's going to help.
Are you impressed with the way he started the season?
Am I impressed with the way he started the season? I think he's showing a lot of silky touches in the midfield on the wing, He's getting past players a bit better than he did before. But it's still that end product. He still lacks a bit of killer instinct in the final third. He's not hurting the opposition enough. He's often opting on the side of caution rather than really going for the throat, and that's what you need to do to become, to break through to the next level and actually get some, get the goal tally up. So I can definitely see promise. We can all see potential there, but it's just like it's a little bit frustrating with him for me at the moment.
Okay.
What do you think? Because I know you hold a lot of hope for him, don't you?
Yeah, I'm a massive fan of Steven Bergwijn, or a massive fan of what he can become.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. The potential. Yeah.
But I think there is a lot of potential there. I mean, he's got a lot of raw talent. He's got mega speed about him, stamina.
Yeah.
So I think all he needs to do is add that kind of decisiveness in the final third, in my opinion, and then he can explode. That's what I think.
And if not, can we just put him right back or something? You know, can we make him adapt his game? Because I think he'd be pretty good in that position.
Yeah, left back, left wing back, or something like that.
Yeah. Either.
F Reader says Tanganga has looked infinitely better at fullback than he was at centre back. Mourinho wasn't right about much, but that was correct about Tanganga, and I don't know if I agree about that. Do you agree?
Hang on, let me just find that.
He's basically saying that he looks better at fullback than at centre back, and Mourinho said he was better at centre back than at fullback.
I haven't really seen him enough at centre back, recently. But I think that's his natural position. I just don't think he's a fluid wing back, Yeah,
that's what I think anyway. Dark Sun G says with Son the second old. How mad is that, by the way?
Son's the second oldest now
in the squad. Yeah,
that is pretty mad, isn't it?
With Son the second oldest now in our team, seems a lot more positive than last season. Hopefully, in the winter or the next summer, we can ship out Winks, Tanguy, and Davis. That's a super chat there from Dark Sun G. I'm guessing like Davis probably by next summer.
I'd like to see him move on. Yeah,
his time will come to an end.
Every day.
Winks.
Every day, Ben. Yeah, Winks. For me, I'd like to see Winks go,
And it just remains about how Tanguy does this season. I mean, if Tanguy has a good season this year...
Tanganga, Ndombele. Yeah.
If he has a good season this year, he could really explode and be a massively important player for us.
I really think that he can thrive in this team.
Yeah,
I do.
Me too.
I really do think that.
Wasn't that game calling out for him against Watford?
Yeah, he'd have been brilliant in that game, And as good as much as improved as Dele Alli has been this season, which I think is we can talk about him in a minute. I think his attitude's changed, and I think he really wants it. He's showing a lot of fight that he didn't show before. He was playing a bit more like a playboy before. He's showing a lot more fight. He's really getting stuck in. But I still think that his position can be rotated, and his position's up for grabs a little bit as well. Keep a bit of competition for his spot. If you brought an Ndombele in there against Watford, I think that would have really, really helped, especially the way that the game was very static, and he can find those sort of laser passes where you need that kind of precision. I think it would have really worked, Yeah,
I completely agree. Stefan Blaus says, one big difference from our defence this season is they won't be asked to defend 95% of the game like we did under Jose. And that's also spot on as well, because there's going to be a lot of pressure relieved off our defence this season as it was last season. Because last season, it was literally barrages of attack on Dyer and Sanchez.
Yeah.
Is that why they're looking a bit better as well? Because they're not constantly under pressure?
That's what it is. And that was my argument last year, was that structurally, because we were very flat, it was inviting a lot of pressure on, and it was exposing the centre-backs, probably more so than they should have been. Whereas this season, we're playing a lot more aggressively. We're trying to get up in numbers. And then when there's the second ball, we're winning the second ball, we're winning those duels as well, so we're containing the ball in the opposition's half a lot more. And so the best form of defence is attack. Whereas under Jose, it was more about, you could even see him, he was trying to hold. Reguilon started off the season like a little whippet, but then if you notice, as the season went on, he was actually he was not marauding forward as much as he was before, So when your wing backs don't push on, it means that the opposition's wing backs can push up and camp out in your half. But when you actually commit like a Reguilon forward, it pins their full back, if you know what I mean. So we're noticing that we're having a lot more dominance in the opposition's half than we did before. We look a lot fitter than we did last season, and so that is going to take off a lot of pressure off the off the back line. But if you remember last season, one of the things that came up was that the argument was, but Mourinho is telling them to push. He's doing it from the touchline, and he's saying, push, press, and he's not doing it. So is it Jose's fault? So what would you say to that now, looking back, reflecting on that?
It's an interesting one, because he was clear. I mean, he kept saying in the interviews he wasn't telling them to drop back.
Yeah.
He wasn't telling them to drop back. You could see him from the sidelines as well. So, I mean, I don't really know, to be honest. I don't really know, because I actually think...
Do you remember that, though? Do you remember that was the argument? That was the big debate, wasn't it?
Yeah, I remember it. But the thing is, like, with Jose, I genuinely believe he's a good manager. I still think he's a good manager. I still think he has what it takes. But I just don't... I think that he came into this squad thinking that they're a lot better than they are. He came into this squad thinking that, you know, they would react well to his style of management, his style of man management. And it just went the complete opposite way.
Yeah.
So I think Jose came in, like, he thought he was coming into like a prime Chelsea where he had men like John Terry and Frank Lampard that would run through brick walls for him. But he didn't. He had a Dele Alli who he didn't get on with. He had, you know what I mean? And it just wasn't the right fit.
Yeah, he had little Instagram boys to deal with. Exactly. That's the issue, yeah. But I would also say that he might have told them to press, but I don't think he was able to coach it into the players. And that's the difference. And I think Nuno, has a little bit more about that. About him, and I think he's a better man manager, Nuno.
Yeah, I agree with that. But the thing is, Jose's man management style is outdated now, because, like, you can't manage like that, because you've got a squad of 30 players, however it may be, and not everyone is going to run through brick walls like it used to be. Yeah. Like in the 90s, like in the 2000s. It's not like that anymore. People's mentality has changed.
Totally changed.
And you just can't manage like that anymore. Maybe in Italy it might work for him.
Yeah,
maybe.
Exactly, yeah.
But in England, it won't work for him.
Yeah, we've become right wusses, haven't we?
We have, it's true.
No, but I agree with that as well. Yeah, the going to war mentality doesn't quite work anymore. The siege mentality doesn't work on these young insta playboys. They need a lot more. As I was saying to Sim in the hot spa, the new breed of manager that's going to really excel is going to be the one that's able to play that kind of lovable uncle type that puts the arm around the shoulder and kind of like Pochettino, Nuno. I feel that a little bit of Nuno.
Yeah,
you know,
same.
You can really see how he's going to nurture these players a lot more and be a lot more gentle with them, but at the same time trying to inspire them rather than try and like force them to do something, you know, and like punish them. I get the impression Mourinho liked to punish players a lot, but I think Nuno's someone that's trying to sort of like inspire them to become the better version of themselves. It might be marginal, but even in Poch's book, he had a little page about that, the difference between a leader and a master or something like that. And he made the difference between motivating and forcing versus inspiring. And it was kind of I like the way he was talking in those regards, you know. Like, instead of being like the headmaster, you know, the drill sergeant that's on top, like commanding to his troops, it's more about someone that's underneath, like stoking the fire to help bring the best out of them. And I like that mentality.
Yeah,
I like that.
I agree. But the thing is with Jose, like, you could see, like, for a time it was clearly working, because it came to December, we were top of the league, right?
Yeah.
And it just showed what a weak mentality these players have, because, you know, one bad thing that happened, that Liverpool game happened.
Turning point.
And then that's it. We just fell off the rails.
The Liverpool game, Anfield was the turning point, I think.
We just fell off
the
rails.
And the West Ham game as well, I would say. We were flying at that point.
We were, but, you know, it just shows, though, because structurally and tactically and everything, we were looking good. We were top of the league. We weren't conceding many goals. We were winning games. I didn't think it looked like the wheels were going to come off.
Do you know what, though? Even though we were winning those games, I did see, though, that it was unsustainable. I did.
With Kane and Son.
Yeah, because everything was going through them. All our goals were coming through them. It did feel as though they were the ones that were carrying the team. There was no goals from any other player, really, if you think about it. The odd goal here and there. So I did feel it wasn't going to last, but... you weren't expecting the wheels to come off as much as it did.
Yeah.
But we kind of burnt out. And then I think the West Ham game when we were 3-0 up, that really hurt us. The Anfield game where we had a chance to win it, we lost that one. And then also I think another turning point was the Palace game where Lloris spills it. And we could have won that game as well. And that would have kept us right up there.
Yeah.
And so I think we lost, the team got a bit of a knock from that, didn't it? And
Jose couldn't kind of inspire them to get them back, basically. And that's what ultimately cost him his job, didn't it?
Yeah.
Let's move on to Cameron Carter-Vickers, because he's...
your favourite.
Cameron Carter-Vickers, as of 3 minutes to go of the window last night, joined Celtic on a season-long loan. He's got 2 years left on his contract now. I mean, how long can this guy stay at Tottenham for? By the time he leaves, he's going to be like 26 years old.
He's the ultimate journeyman, isn't he? Just part of the furniture just won't go away.
Every single year. I mean, maybe he's got something over Levy or something. I don't know.
Why do you think they keep him around so long?
Because Levy's just hanging on to it just to try and make $1 million or $2 million, you know what I mean? And, you know, he's sending him out on loan every year. He'll probably do well at Celtic. He'll probably do well there. Back with Joe Hart.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. Do you think we are going to make any money from Carter-Vickers eventually or not?
How much can we make realistically? Million tops.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe that's Levy's plan, just that one last roll of the dice with Celtic in the hope they might,
Probably get Levy a new private jet or something.
That might do it, yeah. That's probably why, yeah. But, Not an exciting topic, is it, Carter-Vickers?
Nah, but I mean, this guy has been at Spurs for so long now. I mean, he was poor in pre-season. Last time I saw him play in a Spurs shirt was Wickham. He was poor that game, and that was like 2 years ago. 4 years ago even now. So, I mean, I think it's just time to sell him. I don't know why we keep loaning him out, and every single pre-season he starts it with us.
Yeah, you've never liked him. I remember when we did the ratings in the past. You've never been a fan of his, have you?
I don't understand who can be a fan of him. Who? It doesn't make sense to me. I've never seen him play a good game in a Spurs shirt, ever. Yeah.
And he also, when he came through, he's looked exactly the same as he did when he first came through as he does now. Yeah. Even the same size, everything, same agility, everything. And,
he's older now than what's his name? Than Christian Romero. He's older than Christian Romero. Christian Romero is going to come in and be a starting player, and this guy is like 24, and he's still going on loan every year like he's a youth player.
The oldest youth prospect we have. Yeah, that's what it feels like, yeah.
It is. It's mental. Yeah. Is there anyone waiting in the back? No. We've got the lines are open if you want to call in to have your say on Tottenham. Anything Tottenham related, we'll be taking calls on today. If no members call in, I'm going to open it to the public. We'll open it to the public today. So let me just do that 1 second.
Who's Carter-Vickers? Someone says. Yeah, exactly. Who are Accrington Stanley?
That link you have, Sam, in the back end, is it 2FA at the end? All right, I'm going to put the link in the live chat now if you want to come on and talk.
Is this the first?
What, that we've opened it to the public?
Yeah.
No, we've done it before. There is the link. I'm going to pin that to the top of the chat. So all you need to do is click that link and come on and talk to us. And we will, anything Tottenham related, literally. The transfer window slammed shut last night. I'm going to give it, I said 6 yesterday, but I think that there's a lot to be said about keeping Harry Kane as well. I think that, a lot of marks have got to be in for keeping Harry Kane. He looked...
Even though it's one season, it's still...
Yeah. He looked all but gone, didn't he? Back end of last season.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
And also, what's his name? Ndombele. I think
that I'm really pleased about that personally.
Me as well. And I think keeping him, he has to. He got no choice now, but to knock him down. Yeah. Surely.
Yeah, definitely. And just give him a run. Just put him back in there, see if he hits the floor running. I definitely want to see it. The question marks on him were his attitude and his work rate off the ball, but on the ball he was always brilliant when we first got him. Last season I thought he really made an effort with his attitude and his work rate. He got it up from 50 minutes a game to full 90 minutes for a good stretch, and he did for about a dozen games. He looked brilliant, awesome, really one of the most important players that we had on the pitch. Yeah. He tailed off a little bit at the end, and a lot of people sort of judge him on that, but if you can forget about that last part and judge him on the middle part of last season, how well he played, are you telling me that you wouldn't want to see a little bit of that in the team now?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's exactly what our team is missing.
Yeah, especially with these teams when the game goes static and the team's playing that low block. Let's say against Watford, where it was getting really bitty and it was really hard to sort of bash down the door. And then Ndombele would have been brilliant in that position. That would have been the one that could have unlocked the door.
Yeah, I mean, let's have a talk about Serge Aurier now. We released him last night.
Oh, Serge. What's Sonny going to do now? Like the bromance there.
I mean, Sonny's got bromance with literally every guy in the squad, doesn't he? So I think that Aurier, releasing him last night, was a weird one for me. I think that I can understand why it was done. Only 1 year left in his contract. He didn't want to be there, blah, blah, blah. But if I was going to release one of the right-backs, I would have released Matt Doherty instead.
Exactly, yeah. Done anything you can to get rid of Doherty. That would have made the win. I would have probably gotten an extra 2 points out of 10 for the transfer window, Yeah. I would have done as well. Aurier's still a good right back, and against 80% of the teams that we come up against, he's excellent. He's really good. the question marks are like that 20% against the top teams. He can become unstuck. But if we take him generally across the whole season, I think he's an excellent right back.
But sometimes he performs in the big games. You know, Man United.
Yeah, he can. He
last
can.
Season,
No, he can.
6-1,
Yeah, he can.
He definitely performs in some of these. He definitely performs in some of the big games. And sometimes, last season, right? Everyone goes, "Oh, Aurier's always doing fouls, always doing silly mistakes."
Yeah. He cut a little bit of that out. I thought.
Apart from that Leicester penalty he gave away last year, that stupid foul, just inside the area. I can't remember any other real glaring mistakes last season.
I'd have to think about it, but he is a little bit of a clumsy player. He's a little bit rash, isn't he?
Yeah,
he doesn't quite have that.
But I think he's getting better.
Composure.
At it, he is getting better. I think when Jose came in, I think he cut out a lot of that in his game.
Yeah, true. We've got a few. Well, I said last season, we've got a few clumsy players, and I said Aurier, Sissoko, Dyer, and I'm sure there was another one in there as well, and Sanchez. And so Dyer and Sanchez, if they can cut a little bit of that clumsiness out, then that would really help us, I think. But they are all a little bit clumsy, if I'm being honest with you.
It's true. Let's go through some of the super chats. We just got Tanuj Abatia saying, Fernando Llorente is a free agent. Bring him in as backup striker.
Oh, God. you and Sim have a fetish for Llorente.
For that Champions League run, that's why. For that Champions League run. We're all Nando sexuals.
Llorentophiliacs, that's what you are.
Nando sexuals. Dark Sun G says, I hope we can beat Liverpool in December this time and drive on. Hopefully by then we are still first. If we can survive December, we have a chance of top 4.
Drive on. Yeah, I mean, that's optimistic. I like the optimism.
I mean, if we're top by December...
I'll be happy with... In December, if we're top 4 in December, I'll be really pleased with that.
Top.
Yeah, good luck. I mean, I'll take it, but, you know, I think realistically, if we can be in the top 4 in December, then we're doing really well. Really, really well, yeah.
Any guess waiting? Yeah. All right, let's bring on... Oh, Wackaz!
Wackaz! Wackaday Wackas.
Wackaz, how you doing, my brother?
Oh, 1 second. We're just unmuting you.
Have you got audio on? I can't hear
no. Wackas, you need to click the mute button to unmute yourself.
But I can hear something in the headphones. Is someone else waiting?
Simon Cohen, that's it.
Pardon?
Simon Cohen, that's it.
Is he on mute? Is he?
Yeah, he's on mute.
Oh, so what can I hear? Wackaz, start speaking. Oh, he's gone.
And he's gone.
Bring on Simon Cohen. And if Wackaz, if you do rejoin, we'll try and add you in. But let's move to Simon.
That's a shame, isn't it, that we lost Wackas there?
Yeah, he'll come back. He's a star of the show, Wackaz. Just
here
before we get Simon Cohen on, we'll take you through a super chat from Dark Sun G21 saying Liverpool last year at home, Carabao Cup final were 2 games that made Aurier lose most of his fans. Those 2 games were major for us. I mean, I don't really remember.
I can't remember the incidents, though.
I remember him having a poor game at Liverpool. I don't remember the Carabao Cup final.
No, I can't remember what he did. That glaringly obvious there.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But let's get Simon on.
Yeah.
Simon, how's it going, mate?
Not too bad. How you doing, boys?
How you doing, Simon?
All good, all good.
Yeah, fine, thanks, George. Did you have a good birthday?
I did actually, mate. Yeah, a little bit heavy, but still recovering.
I couldn't believe you were 40. You look about 30.
Oh, bless you. You're a keeper.
Yeah, I know. But you're doing all right. You're doing all right, John, on it.
Cheers, matey. Yeah, thanks.
But, the transfer window. If you're talking about ratings, I'll say between 5 and 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
I can't go no higher than 6, Ben.
Why is that, Simon? What's the reason for that? Do you want to explain?
Could have done with another striker. Ideally, I would like to see 2 players come in, a playmaker and a striker. But if it was just down to the one, I would have gone with the striker. Because if anything happens to Kane, which normally does, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
Would you like to see us play Kane a bit deeper with Sonny playing the more forward role this year?
We could do that. But ideally, in an ideal world, I'd like to see Kane play up top. But yeah, you can do that. Put Kane in like in the number 10 role and Son up top. But still, we could have done with another striker because we've got the Conference League, and it's like you'd be flogging, Kane quite a bit unless they decide to go with, Scarlet on occasions in the Conference League. But like I said, we could have done with another striker just to give Kane a little rest now and again. But yeah, you could put him in a number 10 role, but you're going to be overplaying him all the time. You put, either plays at number 10 or up front, you can flog him to death. And he's injury prone, he's got dodgy ankles.
Yeah.
So we could have done with another striker, and I think I would have given it an 8 out of 10.
Yes.
But we have brought some good players. I must admit, we have brought some good players in. But and also getting rid of Aurier last night was a Billy bonus, wasn't it?
So but
Happy with that, are you?
everyone wanted to get rid of Aurier. We got rid of him, and Harry Kane. I mean, do we not? Does there not some plus points in there for keeping Harry Kane?
Oh, of course. You've got to keep Harry Kane. Blimey, we didn't keep Harry Kane. We couldn't get anybody in to replace him. It would have been real, deep. What's the name? So yeah, we had to. The main. Out of all the players we got, and I suppose the main thing was keeping Harry Kane. So we've had a pretty good window, but like I said, I can't give no more than 5 and 6, even though we did keep Harry Kane, because like I said, we could have done with another striker. But I think we'll be okay. We have got some good players, coming in. I like the look of that Gill. He looks a good player.
Yeah.
And we got and Romario or whatever you call him.
I wish it was Romario. that would have solved the striker issue, wouldn't it?
Exactly, that would definitely solve the striker issue, wouldn't it?
it'd be interesting to see what this Emerson's like at right back.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm hearing he's very he gets a lot of bookings, that's for sure.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. But I think we haven't done too bad in the window. But like I said, just a bit disappointed we didn't, pull a rabbit out of the hat last night with another striker. And I was a bit disappointed we never got Danny Ings when he was, we had a chance to get him a little while ago. I think he would have been the perfect play to get in to help Kane out.
Yeah, the thing is with Danny Ings, would he come and play second fiddle though? Because he wants to be main man.
You can play him alongside Kane. I think you can get, you can play alongside Kane. You sort of Son out wide. You can get, play 2 up top with Kane and Ings if we got Ings in, and that's on, playing down, down the flank or whatever he does. So yeah, I think Ings was a miss for about 25 million. I think I know he's a bit injury prone, but if you would have, got your 15 goals between now and the end of the season, that could have got us into the top 4. Those extra goals, you don't know, because we haven't replaced Gareth Bale, have we? We didn't replace Gareth Bale, did we?
No,
and we scored about 12 goals last season. So where's those goals coming from? Bergwijn don't score, Moura hardly scores, so it's all down to Kane and Son again.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
I mean, me and John were talking earlier, and we were saying that because we don't have Jose anymore, we got Nuno, a different way of playing. We're going to potentially suffocate teams. We're going to have more energy. We're going to have our fitness is going to be up. So do you not think that the goals can potentially be shared around the team a bit more this season?
I'm hoping so. I want to see Bergwijn. I quite like Bergwijn, but he's a confidence player. Yeah. His confidence was like shot to pieces after the Liverpool game last season when we lost 2-1. After that, his confidence went right down the toilet. But if Bergwijn can, get a cup, get 1 goal, it could lead to a few goals along the way. So I think I want to see Bergwijn. If Bergwijn can contribute with some goals, he does put a bit of a shift in. He gets into good positions, but like that, that Traore of Wolves, he doesn't put the ball away. Yeah. So we need to share the goals around a bit more, but also I like to see Ndombele get back into the team now because we need a bit of creativity. So, we can't have him sitting around there till next summer, can we? We've got to get him in, get his head sorted out, and see what we can do with him because we need to be, he's our best midfield player by far. Yeah. So we need to get him back in the team because there's nobody else, is there? Really, you can, load the bullets for the boys up front to score.
I mean, he's the one that's really got that X factor, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's an X factor player.
Yeah, but I just don't know what it is with him. I just don't know what his problem is. I really don't. His fitness, he can't last more than 70 minutes. His attitude.
It's a mentality. It's an attitude issue. It's an attitude issue.
Yeah,
it's an
attitude. He's got. You see, there is something. There's something wrong. I don't know. I don't know the bloke personally, but there is something amiss with him, unfortunately. But there is the talent in there. But we just got to, get him back in, get his head sorted out, and get him in that team. And we put a smile on his face, and we just, to the end of, to the end of the season, and take it from there. But we do need to get him back in the team because he is our best midfield player. You can't rely on Lo Celso because he's another one. injury prone, isn't he?
Yeah, I know. God.
Another one, another Lamella. He's another
Lamella. Yeah,
He come back from the World Cup, do the quarantine if he has to do that, and he come back with a slight strain, and you won't see him, till about November time. It's guaranteed with Lo Celso. You can't rely on Lo Celso. So we've got to get Ndombele back in that team, just to make us look better going forward. But
Simon, let me ask you this, Simon. Let me ask you this: if Ndombele, if Ndombele can get back fit and firing this summer, if Nuno can get him on side, can we? Is there any chance of us finishing in the top 4 this year?
Yeah, I think so. But it depends. Like I said, Ben, it depends. I'm worried about Kane getting crocked. If Kane gets crocked, he's out. He's not out for a week or two. He can be out for about 6-7 weeks, maybe 8 weeks. You don't know. But if Kane gets a bad injury or something on his ankles, we've got no. We're relying on Son, but he's not an out-and-out centre forward, is he? So we've got Kane's got to get. Main thing is Kane's got to stay fit, like with Son. You're going like Holberg, people like that. But you've got to get Ndombele back in the team, and hopefully you can get a tune out of him, just to see how we go throughout the season.
Yeah,
but we're only a couple of plays short of really, I think, really like challenging for the top. But I think we've got enough there, maybe to push for top 4. We can stay, keep our main players fit. But we'll have to wait and see. But like I said, we could have done with another striker. That's only just. I was waiting all day yesterday for another striker. I really was, like yourself. I was waiting. And by 7 o'clock, they said, or 6 o'clock last night, they said, that's it. Business is done at Spurs. I thought, here we go. I thought, I know it was a big thing about Emerson coming in, which hopefully might be okay, but we're a little bit lightweight up front. You agree with me on that?
Yeah, I agree with that, actually. Do you know, I agree with everything Simon said so far.
Yeah. Spot on, really.
Echoed what I said earlier.
Even Vinicius, I know he wasn't the greatest centre forward in the world, but he put a few goals away in the UEFA League or whatever he was. So we could have done with somebody similar to him who could take the weight off of Kane's shoulders in the Conference League. But I can see Kane being flogged to death. I really can, and that's what worries me.
Do you not expect Dane Scarlett to play in the Conference League early doors?
Oh, the line is dead. Hello?
Can you hear me? I
can't see you, but I can hear you. Yeah,
do you not expect Dane Scarlett to get minutes in the Conference League early doors?
He'll get minutes, but if Kane's out injured and Scarlett's playing, and we're losing, you can't really rely on Scarlett to get a couple of goals if we're like 2 down or something, can you really? Because he's only a young boy. Yeah, you give him minutes, but he's not really the answer. We could have done with some like a Llorente kind of player, not to come on or to start in the Conference League, because he was a good player.
Llorente is a free agent, Simon.
Yeah, but it must be about John's age by now.
Yeah. Cheers, mate. Not quite your age though.
Well, you were the one John said last week. You're coming up for 40. You should have kept stum about that, mate.
Maybe I should go up front.
Yeah, maybe John can go up.
Maybe I can do a job for us up front, just coming off the bench. Bit of a nuisance sub.
Yeah, that's right. Put John up. Can you get your boots out, give him a clean up, and give it a go.
Yeah.
But
there we go.
Yeah,
got to dust them off first.
Yeah.
Dust them off, like my boots are about 40 years old. But hopefully, like I said, with 3 clean sheets, top of the league, Arsenal at bottom of the league. It's a shame it wasn't that after 38 games. It'd be brilliant, wouldn't it? After 38 games, we're top of the league, won the league, and Arsenal are going down. That'd be brilliant. But we know we won't be up at top of the league at Christmas. We know that for a fact.
Yeah.
But like I said, we've got to stay. You've got to keep our main players injury free. Keep them injury free. Not getting injured, not getting crocked, and we have to take it from there. But yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy. But like I said, as I keep boring you with, I think we're a striker short.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. All right, mate?
Good opinion. Great
Thanks
opinion, Simon. Bang on.
Okay. You take care, boys. You're doing a wonderful job. All the best. You're 2 great guys. Take care. See you soon.
Cheers, Simon.
Bye. See you later, Simon.
Bye.
Up the Spurs. Come on. We got some super chats here from Dark Sun G21 talking about that super chat he gave before about Aurier, saying he gave that free kick away that gave Man City the winner, and he says he's still salty about it, that foul against Sterling at Liverpool at home when he left at half-time. When Aurier left at half-time.
Yeah. Hang on, what, against Liverpool or City?
So there's two things.
Yeah.
There was one, the free kick Aurier gave away that led to their goal, Man City, in the cup final. And then stupid foul against No, sorry. And then at Liverpool,
Yeah.
he left at half time.
Anfield, when we played at Anfield.
No, at Tottenham, I think it was.
Okay. Now you mention it, I do remember that the clumsy foul given away for the free kick. But
Yeah.
I mean, it was just, had they not have scored that free kick, nothing would have been said about Aurier. That's the thing.
And
So-
that brings me back to my point, what I was saying a few days ago about that dire mistake against Wolves.
Yeah, had they have scored, then Dyer might have been out the team now or
Exactly.
something, you know.
I don't know
So
about out
that's
the
fine
team,
margins,
'cause-
though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Super chat from Wakaz. Big up, Wakaz. I hope you are coming back on. But
Come on,
thank you for the
Wakaz.
super chat. But he didn't say it. Oh, here we go. It says, "Yo guys, Wakaz here. It says that the link is too full. There must be a lot of people waiting in the background, but please do keep trying, and we'll bring you on."
Another one from Big Balls.
Go on.
Big Balls TV, talking about strikers. Troy Parrott, quality and never trusted. Why is this man always left in the shadows? Thoughts?
Well, first of all, he's on loan at MK Dons. So, I mean, if MK Dons are the best team that are going to take him up on a loan deal, then clearly he's not ready for Tottenham just yet.
How's he doing? Do you know?
He scored in his first 2 games. I don't know how he didn't score in the 3rd game, but scored in his 2 opening games. So it's definitely a step in the right direction. His loan spells last year, he had 2 of them. Both of them didn't really work out for him, but he started better this year than he has done in the previous couple of years. So watch this space, I guess.
One for the future, I'd say. But he still needs to grow into his body a little bit more. He still looks very young and very kind of, you know, yeah.
Yeah. Dark Sanji saying, about Tanguy, didn't he lose his friends? I'm worried about that affecting his mentality and his contributions for Spurs. How long will we give him time? I hate this whole thing, like, he's lost his friends.
I know.
I mean, he's in a squad with the same guys for 3 years and he's only got 3 friends.
Yeah, exactly.
What's that all about? And I always see him laughing and joking with Sonny in training and different players. I mean, I hate this narrative that Aurier and Sissoko are his only friends in the squad.
I agree. And also, like, you're a professional footballer. You got to treat it like a job. It's not just like a youth club.
Yeah.
You know, you're there to do a job. It's business. You know, yes, you can have some fun, but you're not there to make friends. You're there to actually, like, you know, like perform.
He's earning 200 grand a week.
Exactly. You know, like just sort out your priorities a little bit. You know, knuckle down, boy.
All right, let's move over. Let's get on Billy Bricknell.
Brickell.
Yes, Billy. How you doing, mate?
Brickell.
Yeah, good. How are you? Can you boys hear me?
Hear
Yes,
you,
we can
yeah,
hear
loud
you
and clear.
Loud and clear. Yeah, we're good. What do you want to talk about today?
So I suppose there's a couple of points I wanted to make. The first one is, like, generally I'm pretty positive about the window. Had it with Don Paratici, had definitely a different feel to it. It just felt like a more of a positive vibe with so many more names, and I don't know, it just felt different. I don't know what you boys thought about that. That was the first thing.
Before you move on, actually, I want to ask you, I was asking this to a few people on the call-in show last night. Do you think Paratici has earned his Don status with this transfer window?
I don't know. Don has earned it. He's certainly, I think he's done well. And I think I was really scared, like, I suppose last year, we could have ended up being exactly what Arsenal have, like, just not been able to get rid of so much deadwood. And I think the work that people aren't appreciating as much is the amount of people he has been able to get through the door with all the Kane stuff going in the background and all the rest of it, of all of us just demanding strikers and this and that. But I think that's his real sort of the grind that he had to get through. I think maybe not quite earned the status, but I think that's top work that he hasn't got enough credit for, I feel.
Interesting. And what's the other point you wanted to make?
Yeah, I guess the other point is about Dane Scarlett. I think that just one goal away, and I think he'll just be firing them in. I just have this inkling that as soon as he gets that confidence up, and he does get that goal in that Conference League, you know, he'll be banging them in. I just have this feeling, unlike I did with Troy Parrott. Sorry to whoever was repping him in the chat earlier, but I don't know. I've just not seen it. But Scarlett, his movement, his sharpness, and I think he just needs that one opportunity, and he'll be flying away.
Yeah, I mean, I think Dane Scarlett has showed a lot more than Troy Parrott has ever shown, being many years younger as well. I don't know what you feel, John.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's definitely ahead of Troy Parrott. I think I think he's a season away from being ripe, if you know what I mean. But I still think that he could get a couple of goals this season. It could build his confidence, and he can do a part job for us, you know. And I would definitely like to see him break his duck, let's say, and then I think you would see a little something from him this season. But I just personally feel like I think he's one season away from being where we want him to be as that kind of second string. But
one more point is I feel what's going to make the biggest difference this year is Skipp. Just that extra work that he's putting in, I just think he's going to make a huge. Already, you can see he's making a huge difference. Skipp and the general fitness, all those points that we lost, where we would have been in a much better position at the end of the year. I just don't think it's going to happen under Nuno, and I think Skipp's a massive part of that. Yeah,
I completely agree. I think he started the season exactly how we wanted to see him play. Like, we saw him week in, week out for Norwich last year. Absolute brilliant season from Skipp, and we're all like getting so excited for him to come back, and he's actually lived up to the expectations, hasn't he?
And he's just going to get better on the ball as well. In that last game, you started to see, the more each game he's starting to confident with, moving, carrying the ball and pinging passes around. I think that will just keep coming and coming over the next few years as well.
I completely agree.
Definitely. Yeah, we should talk more about Skipp actually, because he's done really well, hasn't he? But we haven't really probably evaluated him enough, because I think he really deserves some plaudits. I do think that the difference between him and Winks is that Winks can often kind of go missing a little bit and kind of shy away from the ball, whereas Skipp is there trying to call for the ball. And he's trying to get involved more, and he's actually throwing himself in a lot more, loads more blocks, throwing himself to the last minute stuff, Because I think Winks sort of shies away from that a little bit.
Puts his body on the line, doesn't he?
He does. So there was that moment where he sort of went flat out and his head went along the line. He got the silver fox, didn't he? I remember we were joking about that, that was summed it up for me. His performances, really putting himself on the line. So I think that is going to be a big difference as well. It's great to see him come back in, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
He's just getting smashed off the ball all the time in those pre-seasons. Some of those, the first ones, it's embarrassing seeing how it gets muscled off the ball by such a lower level player than what he should. I'm done with him, to be honest.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that one. But in terms of moving into the season now, transfer window is shut. What do you think our ceiling is this year? Can we break into the top four?
Yeah, definitely. I like I said, I think we weren't too far off last year. It was just all of those mistakes, and also the refereeing, how they're letting things go a little bit. I think if it was the same as what it started off last year, we would have had way more points. I think that might just have a bit of a, into a more positive thing. So many times I felt that, the really harsh decisions, Dyer got stitched up a few times. Don't get me wrong, he does make mistakes, but I think that might contribute a little bit as well as just the fitness. And I think, I'm not saying that we'll get in there, but I definitely we've got more chance than what everyone else in the league thinks. And I think we're going to be a bit of a dark horse coming up into those spots.
I like that thinking. I like that thinking. I really hope it does come to fruition. I mean, if we can make a challenge for the top four this year, not even just make it, but make a challenge for the top four, I think that's a massive step in the right direction. And I think that'll stand us in good stead for next season, where we get in a few more players, finish off this rebuild, and I think we can actually make it.
Do you know what's good? That's a really good point Billy made there. It's like we are kind of the dark horse. We are the we can fly under the radar, which means there's a lot of expectation removed from our performances, which means that we can just get on with our job. There's not too high expectations, there's not too much pressure. The new cycle of players can come in, we can start building something new, and then if we don't finish in the top four, it's not going to feel as though it's a disaster, so we're not going to have that kind of anxiety around it. It's just going to be kind of a bit of a transition season, but one which could open the door for top four, which is a nice bonus, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And last question from me, Billy. Conference League. Me and my brothers had a lot of arguments on this over the past couple of weeks. I mean, what would you like to see us do in the Conference League? Are you in it to win it, or you just want to use it as a training method for the kids, and you don't care if we go out or progress?
No, I definitely care. I think you need to, when you're wearing that shirt, you need to be proud, and you need to try and win. And it's still a cup. Obviously, we want to be in the Champions League, but they've got to start winning things and showing up. Whatever team they play, they should all be wanting to win that cup. Every single one of them, Kane, Son, all of them. And we need to use it to be able to jump forward and just get that winning mentality. And they need to start just getting over the line, basically. And I think it's a good opportunity, also a good chance to, try out new things and the rest of it. But you can't be too experimental. And I hope if they don't show up, that they don't get crucified and get pushed out of the Premier League team like Mourinho did. I think that's one mistake. If you ever look at Romero's debut, he wasn't the best. It was a bit shaky, but he was straight back in that other. And I think Nuno will give him that trust and give him the time to kind of mature and all the rest of it.
All right, yeah. Billy,
Billy.
Nice. Cheers,
Brilliant
lads.
call, mate.
Excellent
Brilliant
points,
call.
mate.
Thanks
Thanks
you so
for
much
calling
for
in.
coming on.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on,
Come
you
on.
Spurs. See, that's another good point that Billy was making there, is that last season, if a defender has a bad game, they'd be out. And then he'd kind of rotate another defender in. If they made a mistake, then he would be out. And then, you know what I mean? That's not going to breed much confidence. Whereas I think Nuno, I get the impression as if they make a couple of mistakes, it's like that he's not going to completely cut ties with them. So he's going to show a lot more belief in these players. And I think that does make a difference. I think the argument last year was, but they made those mistakes. He can't trust them. He has to, he hasn't got any good centre-backs. He's going to have to put another one in, and they keep messing up. But they're probably messing up because the confidence is drained from them, the belief is drained from them. If you've got a manager going, don't worry, that happens to every player, don't worry, you're still my main defender, then they might grow into that position. They might become that trustworthy defender. But if you just keep rotating and recycling these centre backs, then it's going to be difficult for them to sort of get a bit of a string of performances going.
It's actually unbelievable what a bit of confidence can do to a man.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah,
because you could look like literally the worst footballer in the world when you're low on confidence.
Yeah,
and the same footballer with a bit of confidence. Can look completely different. Look at Emerson Sanchez. He's a prime example, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and think about last season when he made that mistake against West Ham. He was straight out the team, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And I thought it was a bit unlucky. Yes, it was a bit of it was clumsy, like we always say. But at the same time, one clumsy mistake, you shouldn't just be punished for that. It should be just like, okay, he's a little bit clumsy, but you know what I mean? Like, come on, work on that next game.
He was out for like
straight
6
out,
weeks or something.
6 weeks out.
Yeah.
What's that going to do to a guy's confidence?
Yeah. And Mourinho has a knack for doing that, doesn't he?
It's the whole like punish, go to war. You're down in the doldrums. You've got to work yourself out of it, and you've got to prove to me that you're ready again. And as we've said before, like this is a whole new type of player now, whole new type of whole new generation. They need a little bit more man management, I think. Yeah.
All right. Who have we got coming on next? I believe his name is Andy. Let's get Andy on.
How you doing, Andy?
Hi guys.
How's it going,
Can you
Andy?
hear me?
Good.
Yeah,
all
loud and
good,
clear.
mate. All good. All good. What do you want to
Good,
talk
yeah.
about today?
Just what was going to say about the transfer window. I think it was better than a lot of people maybe give credit for, because a lot of the players that we needed to get out, bar a few, are out, which was the most important thing, I think, as a Spurs fan. And I think the players that we got in are good players. Romero, obviously, Syria, our best defender, so that's obviously a quality signing. We needed a right back, which we managed to get over the line yesterday. Maybe the only place that we could have strengthened was in the forward. So in that area, like everyone sort of said, if Kane or Son get injured, then who are we going to play up front?
Do you think that there's enough creativity in this team?
I do actually think so. Lo Celso and Ndombele, if obviously he gets integrated back into the team, they're two players that can easily unlock defences, given their skill set and their ability to drive the team forward. Maybe once they get into the team and there's a bit more fluidity between the midfield and the forward, that could help create more chances.
Yeah. Anything from you?
Yeah. And so going forward, then, like, how do you think the season's going to pan out? Then, I mean, are you more optimistic this season than you were last season, or how do you see it going?
I think the way that we set up as a team under Nuno is definitely not more solid, but you can see the way that he set up the three midfielders to help cover the defence and the forward. Whereas I think last season we had Højbjerg mainly doing all the donkey work, trying to cover the left back position and the right back position, which left Dyer and Sanchez or whoever played in defence completely exposed. A lot of the attacks and goals came from wings last season rather than through the centre. And I think that was a big reason for it. We was exposed down the wings a lot. And I think, John, you said earlier about when we had, under Mourinho, we played regular and a lot more defensive in the second half of the season compared to the first.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. He seemed to lose the ability to want to push forward, as if he was under the instructions to not go past the halfway line. And that caused problems.
Yeah, which I think
So,
he was.
I'm
I actually
definitely
noticed
more-
that. I noticed Mourinho actually did from the touchlines, like holding, like saying, "Don't go forwards" for some reason. And you
Yeah,
kind of like
yeah, I noticed that a few times.
you noticed that as well. It's almost like it's starving Reguilon of his natural position, his natural
Yeah.
instinct. You know, which I think when he
It
plays
is
with
to
that
go
natural
forward, he's
instinct,
very aggressive.
he's brilliant, isn't he? He's very aggressive. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, totally agree with that. And I think definitely more positive this season. I think
Okay.
if Lo Celso and Ndombele start to do anything like they did when they was in their form, then we've definitely got a great chance of getting into the top 4. So
Yeah.
that positive. That's my positive look anyway.
That's we all
Brilliant.
love positive outlooks here. So look, it's a long way to go till Spurs play their next game, but we keep tight. We keep this positive mentality, and then when football comes back, we really show what we're about. So Andy, thank you so much for coming on, and we shall speak
Thank
to
you
you
guys.
soon.
Thanks for having me on.
Thanks,
Come on,
Andy.
you
Cheers.
Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. Cheers, mate. Message from Brian.
Message from Brian. Go on, read it out.
Ben, when I get home, £20 donation to Mind will be made. In fact, as it's a charity so close to my heart, I will round it up to 50.
Come on, that is world class from Brian. If you didn't know, I'll just tell you the backstory to that. Is that me and Brian had a bet the back end of last season for charity.
Right.
It was a £10 bet actually. For any charity of our choice. It was regarding if Harry Kane stayed or not. So he said Harry Kane won't stay. I said Harry Kane will stay. And then 2 or 3 days before, I think it was a week before the transfer deadline closed. It was just after Harry Kane made that statement saying he's staying.
Right.
I said to Brian, was still convinced he was still going to leave. So I said, do you
Okay.
want to double down on that bet? And he said yes.
You squeezed more out of
It's
him.
for charity anyway, so
Yeah,
it's a good
okay.
cause. So why not?
Yeah.
Why not? I just want a message to people in the background waiting to come on. We can't get you on until your cameras are turned on. So please turn them on and then we'll get you on. But if you don't, then that will be kind of the end of the show.
People are saying, is our table dusty? It's not. It's just the...
It's not dusty. It's
the-
furry.
yeah.
Yeah, people keep telling me to clean this desk, but it's
I know,
not,
it's
there's
this
nothing
bit.
to
Hang on,
clean.
let me sort this out. Hang on.
And how's that, everyone?
There you go.
Beautiful.
We're going to give you a bit of
Beautiful.
a cleaning session here on We Are Tottenham TV.
There you
now.
go.
Did they turn it on? All right, fine. Let's end the stream here. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to Good Morning Tottenham this morning. We'll be back today with some more content, maybe even some unpopular opinions before the end of the week as well.
That'd be nice.
I know you love a bit of
Oh, I love a bit of that.
unpopular opinions. But thank you, everyone, for calling in as well today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.